Do NASCAR teams see Kyle Larson as an invincible threat? What will happen if a rival as formidable as Denny Hamlin crosses his path? Look at the damage done to the track by their hard collision. Can Larson turn his rage into a win, or will their hatred boil over? Get ready for some high-octane action. So hello Mascarians, and welcome back to NASCAR Zone. But before we begin, do subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. It was the only way that Denny Hamlin, who drove for Joe Gibbs Racing, was going to be able to beat Kyle Larson on Sunday at Pocono Raceway. So Kyle Larson felt like he had been used up by Hamlin. After the dramatic racing event and the dust had settled, everyone's attention was focused on professional stock car driver Kyle Larson as he spoke about the incident that occurred during the Denny Hamlin race. Larson addressed the media as well as the crowd, sharing his perspective on the on-track collision that had kept viewers on the edge of their seats.
It is what it is. Like, yeah, we're friends. Yes, this makes things shitty and awkward, but whatever. He's always right. All the buddies know Denny's always right. So I'm sure he was in the right there as well. But it is what it is. I'm not going to let it tarnish a friendship on track. But I am pissed. So and I feel like I should be pissed. But I'm sure tune into Action's Detrimental. He'll have a long clip about it. I think at this point I have to, right? Like I said, I've never had to apologize to him about anything I've done on the racetrack. I can count 4 or 5 times where he's had to reach out to me to be like, oh man, sorry, I put you in a bad spot there or whatever. And so eventually, like he says, you got to start racing people a certain way to get the respect back. So, he pulled the same move on Ross last year, which Ross probably deserved it, right? With all the stuff that he's done to Denny in his career. Again, I haven't done that to Denny, so I don't think I deserve to be, run into before I ever got to the wall.
How did you feel about Larson's treatment of Hamlin? Comment below and subscribe to our channel. Hamlin to Ross. As he considered the upcoming relocation, it became apparent that he was experiencing a great deal of anxiety. He was well aware of the difficulties that would await him in the near future. The events of the past continued to plague him, particularly the ordeal that Hamlin had been through the previous year. Ross had been through a situation very similar to that one, and it had made an impression on his mind. The anxiety originated from the idea that history would repeat itself, namely the dread that he would face the same challenges or obstacles that Hamlin had previously encountered. In spite of his apprehension, Ross made an effort to maintain his cheerful outlook by reminding himself that every situation was different and that he had the ability to respond to it in a variety of ways. Even though he knew that obsessing about the past wouldn't impact the present, he couldn't shake the feeling that everything was still up in the air. Larson's competitor. Larson, a highly accomplished and well-respected racer, had a reputation for having an honest and clean driving style for as long as anyone could remember. As the event progressed, he discovered that he was engaged in a hard battle with another opponent named Hamlin. Larson was aware of the significance of treating the race with respect, and he anticipated that his competitors would do the same. However, as the number of laps continued to decrease, Larson was presented with a difficult conundrum. It became more difficult for Larson to maintain the proper speed and control as a result of the turbulent, dirty air generated by Hamlin's car that was driving ahead of him. Realizing that overcoming Hamlin would be a difficult effort, he began to feel a growing sense of frustration within himself. In a moment of desperation, Larson made a questionable choice and attempted to make contact with Hamlin's car in order to gain an advantage. This move was met with widespread condemnation. In spite of the fact that he was under the impression that it was his sole opportunity to triumph over his rival, he was unable to shake the sensation that he had violated his standards for an honest competition. Larson was well aware that gaining triumph at the expense of one's esteem was a difficult pill to chew. Larson anticipated respect. Was Hamlin's contact his only chance to beat him due to unclean air? Leave your comment below on it and subscribe to our channel. Larson's frustration. The irritation that Larson was feeling was palpable, as evidenced by the furrowing of their brows and the tightening of their shoulders. They had been in a situation like this before, and the exhaustion that could be seen in their eyes conveyed a great deal about how frustrated they were. It appeared to be a pattern that occurred repeatedly, a string of encounters that put their patience to the limit on multiple occasions. Larson's mind was bombarded with recollections of previous experiences while they handled the current scenario. Larson made an effort to keep their cool in spite of the growing level of annoyance they were experiencing, but the strain could be heard in their voice as they discussed the matter at hand.
Yeah, I mean, he gave me a really good push on the front stretch, and I was nervous of the move that happened because, he made it work on Ross last year, and he dirtied him up. he knows, and Ross deserved it last year for all those times that he got into Denny. So I felt like I deserved to be raced with respect, at least through turn one. But he knew that was going to be his only opportunity to beat me. With how bad Dirty Air was. So I got used up. So just unfortunate. I feel like we've had a handful of run-ins. I've never had to reach out to apologize. He's always been the one that's reached out to me and been like, hey man, sorry, I messed up there a little bit, or put you in a bad spot, whatever, sorry, I hurt your day. I've never had to do that to him. So sure, maybe there's been times where he's been frustrated with me, but I've never hurt his results. I should have at least been top 2. I finished 21st. So in my eyes, I mean, hey, I could have 10 more playoff points, 2 more wins right now, off the 11. So yeah, I'm pissed. I should be. I can't think of one time where I'm like, man, Denny, sorry I hurt your day, or sorry I ended your day. There's 4 or 5 times he's had to reach out to me over the 9 years I've been racing in the Cup Series to apologize, whether it be little stuff on track or big stuff. And as we've all heard him say, eventually he has to race a certain way to get some respect back. So I'm an aggressive racer, I get it, but I tend to race my friends with more respect, but I just feel like I haven't gotten that respect from him, especially this year, but even in the past.
Does Larson never have to apologize to Hamlin? Comment below in the box. Larson's team. Despite the fact that the Pocono race had ended in a 21st place finish, Larson spoke about the plan that his team had used with unshakable excitement. He did so with a tinge of pride in his voice.
Well, first off, just really proud of my team to even get us in position to race for a win. I mean, we got spun early, and car wasn't the same after that, but they played the strategy really well to get us up there. So just unfortunate, but...
In the eyes of Larson, the results were but a small part of the whole picture. He underlined that the experience they got and the lessons they learned from this race would be very helpful in molding their future ambitions, and that they would be the most important things they took away. He calmly states that he doesn't need to apologize. He emphasizes that personal conflicts won't affect professional matters with Hamlin.
On-track stuff's on-track stuff, but I feel like I can do a good job of separating on-track from off-track. He's still a friend. Races me like an asshole, but still a friend. So yeah, I'm just mad right now. I'm sure he'll say some dumb stuff on Monday night or whatever, and I'll get more mad for a little while, and then I'll eventually get over it.
That's all for today. Hope you enjoyed it. So don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel to see more of our incredible videos on NASCAR. Look forward to seeing you in the next video.